The Texas Department of Public Safety has some new leadership today.
Who's taking over the future of that agency?
President Biden is giving his son Hunter a pardon. How he says the conviction was politically motivated. Next.
Good afternoon. It's a pretty day today, and when the rain falls, that'll be pretty too. We'll tell you when the rain is forecast in our area during first warning weather.
In-depth, investigative. This is KXAN News at Noon.
Good afternoon, and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Avery Travis.
And I'm Will Dupree. Today, the Texas Department of Public Safety has a new leader. Texas Governor Greg Abbott swore in Lieutenant Colonel Freeman Martin as the agency's director. According to the Texas Commission of Law Enforcement, Martin received his Texas Peace Officer license 34 years ago, and he's been with DPS for the entirety of his career. He is the first Texas Ranger to take this position. The Texas Rangers are, of course, a division of DPS. Some notable highlights from Martin's term include the transition to a regional command structure, uniting DPS operations throughout the state, raising pay for commissioned officers, increasing department hiring standards, and implementing a mandatory fitness program for all commissioned officers. Governor Abbott says that this selection is important to him because he says that public safety is his top priority, and that starts with DPS.
We cannot achieve our goal of public safety in this state if we do not have at the top of the leadership rung someone who is devoted 24/7 to fulfilling that mission for the people.
Freeman Martin is succeeding Steve McCraw, who announced he would retire after serving as DPS director for the last 15 years. McCraw's last day on the job was November 30th. Austin police are investigating what happened to a woman found dead in Lady Bird Lake.
A kayaker found the woman floating in the water yesterday morning. Police said it appears the woman was in her 60s and was possibly homeless and trying to stay warm. Saturday night temperatures dipped to about 45 degrees. This incident follows recent changes the city made to the cold weather shelter activation system. The city previously had a multi-tiered criteria, but now shelters will activate once weather is expected to drop down to 35 degrees overnight.
We really recommend it at 35 degrees because at that temperature, it still is too cold to sleep outside, and people can suffer bodily harm and also not get enough sleep to make them able to function well the next day.
The Austin Police Department says it does not believe this death is connected to any others. Going in depth, over the last 2 years, there have been 12 deaths reported around the lake, most of which APD says were not suspicious. Last year had the most deaths with 5, with bodies being spread out across the lake from Mopac to Pleasant Valley. A man is facing charges after a confrontation on Friday that left another man dead. This happened in Hays County near Nutty Brown Road on 290. The sheriff's office says a driver hit 45-year-old John Paul Ramirez with a car after a confrontation outside his vehicle. Officials say Ramirez then fell into the eastbound lane and a passing driver hit him. He later died at the hospital. Deputies arrested the driver who originally confronted Ramirez. They did not release that person's name.
First warning weather.
As we enter our noon hour, we want to take a live look right now over South Austin from our Austonian camera there. It's shaping up to be a gorgeous day outside. We want to check in with meteorologist Rich Siegel here. And Rich, you're tracking those temperatures. I'm seeing a lot of 60s all across our area.
We have warmed quite rapidly. It wasn't that long ago that we were in the 30s and 40s, and we'll be in the 30s and 40s in the area tomorrow morning. But we're going to be around the normal high today, and that's pretty good because we spent most of November above normal. And we're starting out December temperatures closer to normal. That's the way it should be. And good afternoon to all of you. We start out with those 60s that Will is talking about. Low to mid 60s covering all of the hill country right now. It's 61 at Burnett, 64 at Llano, 63 at Blanco, and also up at Richland Springs. 59 still at Round Rock. That'll change before too long. It's now 64 at Camp Mabry, 63 at Buda, 63 out at Wimberley. And as we check out the temperatures in our eastern viewing area, 67 already at Cedar Creek. You folks should likely hit 70 in the next couple of hours. 65 at Rosanke and LaGrange, 64 at Rockdale, and 62 at Lexington. With this view from the Capitol, by 2 o'clock, we're looking at temperatures for most of the area in the mid to upper 60s, hitting our highs this afternoon between 3 and 4 o'clock, which will be mostly those upper 60s to a few around 70. Dinner time temperatures will be in the upper 50s to low 60s under what should be a generally clear sky. By 9 o'clock, we're in the lower half of the 50s. These temperatures are going to bottom out real fast as we get overnight, but low 50s in the Austin area, upper 40s to low 50s elsewhere. By 11 o'clock, we're in the mid and upper 40s to around 50. Again, on our way to low temperatures tomorrow in the 30s and 40s. So today, some 60s and some 70s. We will talk about and show you when we feel the rain will begin and that all-important pollen count. Where is that cedar today? Avery?
Rich, thank you. Just weeks before leaving office, President Joe Biden issued a pardon of his son, Hunter Biden.
This all comes after the president repeatedly said he would not do this. Washington correspondent Maddie Beer-Temple reports on that reversal.
President Joe Biden said in a statement he's pardoning his son because he believes the charges against him were politically motivated. The pardon comes just weeks before Hunter was supposed to be sentenced in 2 federal cases. Now the president's son will avoid possible prison time for felony gun and tax convictions. It's a reversal for the president who pledged he would not pardon Hunter or commute his sentence, saying in June,
"That I abide by the jury decision. I will do that, and I will not pardon him."
Hunter faced up to 25 years in prison for lying on a federal gun purchase form about his drug addiction. The White House also had emphasized the president would not pardon Hunter.
We've been asked that question multiple times. Our answer stands, which is no.
The pardon also includes any other offenses Hunter may have committed between January of 2014 and December this year. In a statement, President Biden said, quote, "No reasonable person who looks at the facts of Hunter's cases can reach any other conclusion than Hunter was singled out only because he is my son, and that is wrong." President-elect Donald Trump posted on Truth Social, calling the pardon, quote, "an abuse and miscarriage of justice." Now, President Biden ignored reporters' questions Sunday night about the pardon. He was departing for Angola on what might be his final foreign trip of his presidency. In Washington, I'm Maddie Beer-Temple.
President-elect Trump announced more picks for his upcoming administration. He said he's choosing Florida Sheriff Chad Chronister to serve as the administrator for the Drug Enforcement Administration. He'll be replacing the current administrator, Ann Milgram, who got the position back in 2021.
Meanwhile, Trump tapped Mossad Boulos as a senior advisor to the Middle East. He previously sought office in Lebanon and is the father-in-law of Trump's daughter, Tiffany. So far, neither he nor Trump have offered any concrete details on their plans for the region.
The president-elect also nominated Charles Kushner for ambassador to France. Kushner is a real estate developer and the father of Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. In 2005, he was sentenced to 2 years in prison as part of a plea deal after Kushner pleaded guilty to 18 counts of tax evasion, witness tampering, and making illegal campaign donations. He was prosecuted by then U.S. Attorney Chris Christie, who later became the governor of New Jersey and a major Trump foe. Trump later pardoned Kushner back in 2020 as one of more than 24 pardons the then president issued after he lost his re-election bid.
The House task force investigating the assassination attempts against Trump is set to hold its last hearing later on this week.
A spokesperson for that task force told NBC News that the second and last public hearing will be held on Thursday before releasing that final report. It marks the close of several months of work. Much of it has been kept out of the public eye. Acting Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe is expected to be the sole witness at Thursday morning's hearing on Capitol Hill. After that hearing, the bipartisan group of lawmakers will finalize its report and move to make it public. The lawmakers have visited the locations of both assassination attempts, Butler, Pennsylvania, and West Palm Beach, Florida. Welcome back, everybody, and happy Monday afternoon. The time right now is 12:13 as we show you a live look from Llano right now. This is the condition for pretty much our entire area. Blue skies, nice temperatures, they're warming up, but we do have some rain chances this week. Rich will update us on those in just a few moments. Well, here's a question. Did you put up your Christmas tree this weekend? At my household, we did. And for many out there, the end of Thanksgiving marks the time to start decorating.
And business is ramping up for one Central Texas Christmas tree lot. 'Tis the season. KXAN photojournalist Frank Martinez gives us a look inside Papa Noel Christmas trees on its busiest day of the season.
This year, when the calendar hits Thanksgiving so late, we have Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and then December 1st, all wrapped up on the same weekend. Yeah, it's our busiest one of the year.
It's got the two-tone. I don't know if y'all noticed that, where it's lighter on the bottom and then it's darker on the top of it. All right, now I'm about to go take it and net it, and I'm going to take a little bit off the bottom.
I like to come here because the trees are fresh and they're so wonderful. They trim it and tie it to your car and just do a really nice job here. So we come every year the day after Thanksgiving.
We just have a great time, putting the tree up, and also gives the house with a fresh tree, gives it a great smell.
One thing I like to remind shoppers is that when you buy a real tree, you're buying from an American business and you're supporting American farmers. Artificial trees are all manufactured in China, and American grown Christmas trees are manufactured and grown in America. And obviously they're 100% recyclable and renewable.
You're missing us dancing out here. Papa Noel has 6 locations all throughout the Austin area and 1 in San Antonio. If you're looking to get set up for the holidays, each of its locations is open every day from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. through the weekend before Christmas. Still plenty of time to go get one. Going in depth now. According to the Texas Farm Bureau, more than 4 million real Christmas trees are sold in the state each year. Each of those purchases benefits local farms and agricultural businesses, which helps boost our state's economy. The Texas A&M Forest Service says in 2022, the Christmas tree industry actually brought in more than $714 million. Wow. It also supported close to 6,000 jobs. That is pretty astounding to see those numbers in total, but this weekend when we went to go buy our real Christmas tree, there was a long line of people waiting to get them. So it was just the time of the season, I guess.
Were you there early to get in the head of the line, or did you have to wait a long time?
We went a little bit later than we intended. It was a little slow moving this weekend, but yeah, I think that's why.
Yeah.
All
right. Packed. Well, you should have seen Rich and I dancing. That was some fun music there too. Getting in the.
I was dancing on my one leg that works. All right, let us head to Bee Cave, our newest weather camera. As you know, this is the covert Bee Cave Auto Mall camera down on west of the Galleria, Highway 71 in the beautiful Texas Hill Country. The coverts have been in business for 115 years, and we love this shot that we're getting from Bee Cave today. We're not necessarily in love with this shot. Our pollen count today, molds are high, cedar is medium. Cedar came down a skosh over the last 24 hours, but then this morning, there was a little bit of an increase as we got to about the 8 o'clock hour. You can see that increase if you'll log on to our website, KXAN.com. Click on the Weather and Traffic tab and then go to the far left side down to the allergy count, and you'll be able to see specifically the past few hours of the cedar count. As we take a look at temperatures warming into the upper half of the 60s to around 70 today, we'll remind you that the normal high this afternoon is 67 degrees. No problems with humidity. It'll be fine. We'll have dew points below 50 degrees today, tomorrow. A little spike as we get into Wednesday, Thursday before the arrival of yet another cold front. That'll be the second of 2 that we'll have this week, and that'll drop it back below 50 for the end of the week and on into the weekend. The first cold front will appear there as it comes through late tonight through early tomorrow morning. It just reinforces the drier, cooler air that we have here at the surface, and then with the upper flow coming out of the southwest, we'll notice increasing clouds for Tuesday. It doesn't look like we're going to find any rain on Tuesday afternoon, but we may find some rain Tuesday night, and man, do we need it. We only had 2¼ inches of rain in November, a deficit of 6,600s, but for meteorological fall, that time period that starts on September 1st and runs through November 30th, we are 7.64 inches below normal for that 3-month period. And so again, We say this constantly. I don't know any other way to put it. We just appreciate the rain anytime we get it. And there it is, Tuesday night to Wednesday morning on to Wednesday afternoon. And then we'll get a little bit of a break, it looks like, with only a minimal chance of rain Thursday. But then we have some rain back in the forecast Friday night into Saturday night into Sunday early. And then by Sunday afternoon, it looks like the rain is done, and Monday should be dry as well. Rain totals, according to the American model, from let's just say Tuesday night to Wednesday, going all the way out to Sunday morning. Still not backing off on these 1 and 2 inch totals that we have been seeing here since this model updated last night. 70 for the high today under a mostly sunny sky, and then the rain chances again start at 20% tomorrow night into Wednesday morning, 40% Wednesday, and again on Friday.
The CEO of a major automaker says he's stepping down.
The parent company of Jeep and Chrysler said Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares resigned from the position. It's over increasingly different views between the executive and the board of directors. This news comes after a series of strikes against the automaker over the last year. Stellantis is the world's 4th largest car maker. The company says its board accepted his resignation and his departure is effective immediately.
Tavares led Stellantis since its creation through a 2021 merger between Fiat Chrysler Automobiles and PSA Group. The United Auto Workers Union has called for his removal for several months as its members face layoffs and production cuts. Stellantis U.S. dealership network also has spoken out against Tavares amid bloated inventories and a lack of financial support from the company to sell vehicles.
There is now another series of vegetable recalls, this time hitting cucumbers in Texas and other states. Sun-Fed Produce issued a recall on all sizes of its whole fresh American cucumbers. The company says those cucumbers could have salmonella. Warehouses packed the cucumbers in bulk cardboard containers with the Sun-Fed label or in a generic white box or black plastic crate. Stores sold them from October 12th to November 26th. Going in depth, this is the second salmonella outbreak linked to cucumbers this year. Between March and July, the Centers for Disease Control and the Food and Drug Administration reported a significant outbreak affecting Texas and several other states. The affected cucumbers were from Bedner Growers Incorporated and Thomas Produce Company. That outbreak infected 551 people across 34 states.
Well, the holidays are a high note and really a high kick for a young dancer from Allen. She is living her dreams in New York City now with one of the most iconic dance teams in the world. Noelle Walker introduces us to her and has her story.
The holiday season and Radio City Rockettes go hand in hand, part of an annual tradition for many families.
Watching them dance, and they're so graceful and strong. It was so inspiring. And I know for me, ever since I've seen them, I've always wanted to be a Rockette.
Since Soleil Mitchell was a young dancer growing up in Allen.
It's been a dream of mine since I was little.
What are you doing in New York?
Oh, I am right now performing with the Radio City Rockettes for the Christmas Spectacular.
A life of rehearsals and shows, living her dream job, performing at Radio City Music Hall.
You always feel the energy from the audience here at Radio City. It's such a strong, positive feedback every time I'm on stage.
Soleil is one of 17 new dancers on the dance line this year. She is aware there are little girls like she once was who are watching and dreaming. What do you want them to think and feel?
Well, my main goal is to make sure that every little girl sees themselves on the stage. And that's what I love so much about the Rockettes, because they always strive to make the line more and more diverse every single year. And I just want every little girl to look up at me and say, oh, if she can do it, then I definitely can.
In-depth, investigative. This is KXAN News at Noon.
There's new information this morning about the status of 2 Americans who disappeared during the October 7th attacks in Israel.
And the group World Central Kitchen is pausing its operations in Gaza after a deadly airstrike. NBC's Matt Bradley has the latest from the Middle East.
Breaking news of the death of an American who was thought to be a hostage in Gaza. Israel's military announcing that Omer Nutra, an American-Israeli soldier, was actually killed in the October 7th attacks. His family had thought he survived as a hostage.
What keeps you strong? What gives you hope?
The thought that he's alive and that he's waiting for us to rescue him. That's what keeps me hope.
Now the IDF says Nutra's body is being held in Gaza. The news comes after Hamas released this propaganda video showing another Israeli-American hostage.
My name is Eden Alexander.
Eden Alexander begging incoming President Donald Trump to negotiate for our freedom. Eden's mother now ramping up the pressure for a ceasefire with Hamas that would free her son and other hostages, speaking Saturday with Israel's prime minister.
So I ask him, please, Benjamin Netanyahu, be strong for the country, be strong for Israel and release them.
I'm the father of Eden Alexander, 20
Eden's family also rallying yesterday in Central Park. It comes as the Biden White House makes a new push to release the hostages in the waning days of the administration, despite pessimism it will succeed.
Our hope is that we can generate a ceasefire and hostage deal, but we're not there yet.
While in Gaza, there's fresh outrage from relief workers after the World Central Kitchen said Saturday 3 of its local staff members had been killed in an Israeli airstrike. Israel said one of the 3 had participated in Hamas's October 7th attacks. The U.S.-based charity said it has no knowledge that any of its members are affiliated with Hamas. This is the second time Israel has killed WCK workers, again causing the group to pause its operations feeding people in Gaza.
First warning weather.
We want to get a live look now out over Austin. Beautiful Austin today. We've had such wonderful weather, but we've been dry as a bone, unfortunately.
Unfortunately so, but those temperatures out there, Rich, they are very nice. Let's get an update from meteorologist Rich Siegel. What are we looking at out there right now?
It really is pretty today, and it's a nice afternoon, this early afternoon, to take lunch outdoors because the winds are light, the humidity is low, the sun is shining. It's nearly a perfect day for lunch. I think I might do that at 2 o'clock. All right, how about, well, indeed. All right, we go from the Austonian view to this view from the Domain up in North Austin, the Indeed Tower Cam overlooking the downtown skyline, but seeing a mostly sunny sky too. Again, just those thin cirrus clouds. And it looks like we are all in the 60s at the bottom of the 12 o'clock hour, low to mid 60s right now, a general range of 61 to 66. Warmest temperature looks to be at LaGrange at 67. So we have made the upper 60s there. LaGrange likely will get to 70 degrees today. So should Flatonia. I think Austin gets to 70 today, and we may have a few others. But on the whole, most of our highs this afternoon will be in the mid to upper 60s. Warm, rapid warming from this morning's lows in the 30s and 40s because we have dew points in the 30s and 40s here at this hour. That's resulting in humidity readings also in the 30s and 40s. And so that's what makes this air very comfortable. Like pretty day today. Temperatures will peak in the upper half of the 60s as we get into the 3 to 4 o'clock hour, which is about the time that we should hit most of our high temperatures today. And by the time Chief Meteorologist Nick Bennett speaks with you this evening, he should be reporting a high in Austin of around 70. But then we head right back down into the winter chill for tomorrow morning with most all of our overnight lows in the upper half of the 30s in the Hill Country and perhaps even in Williamson and Milam counties to the low to mid 40s elsewhere. And again, we're going to talk about when that rain begins. That's on my mind. I know it's on your mind too, several of you, and we'll do all of that in just a few minutes. Avery?
Rich, thank you. Concerns from business owners are brewing over President-elect Donald Trump's tariff policy.
Meanwhile, talks are persisting between Trump and our neighbors to the north and south. Richard Sherman has more on why business owners say they're worried.
Ever since the president-elect threw out the idea of added tariffs from Mexico, Canada, and China, we've seen a lot of movement here this week, with President-elect Trump hopping on the phone and speaking with the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, as well as the President of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, as they have begun these initial conversations, setting the table for negotiations when it comes to what trade between these countries will look like once President-elect Trump takes office. And some retailers are warning customers that price tags might look a little bit different if the president-elect makes good on his threat to impose some tariffs here. One local furniture company in Texas advertising what they call a pre-tariff sale, saying the price tag you see now might look a little bit different if any of these tariffs ultimately come down the pipeline. And that's not all. The Wall Street Journal says that some major corporations, including Lowe's and AutoZone, saying that it's likely inevitable that they would have no choice but to pass on some of these added costs to consumers if some tariffs are added here. And in terms of what Mexico imports to the United States as well as Canada, well, they have a big footprint when it comes to agriculture, oil and gas, transportation equipment. For China, computer and electronic products, electrical equipment, appliances and components, miscellaneous manufactured commodities. You take your pick there. That could be toys, that could be medical devices or anything of that nature there. Point of emphasis here, though, is that there's a long way to go until Inauguration Day, and we've seen the president-elect use this strategy in the past of throwing out numbers in order to start the negotiating process. And it's very conceivable that final tariff numbers will look very different than what he's saying now, if any tariffs are imposed at all. Back to you.
Richard Sherman with that update. The U.S. Postal Service is temporarily suspending mail service to Canada. It comes as the country faces an ongoing national strike by the Canadian Union of Postal Workers, which represents workers for the country's primary postal service. Union representatives say that they are seeking fair wages, improved working conditions, and other critical improvements. The USPS issued a statement which read in part, "The Postal Service is closely monitoring the situation and will continue to update customers until the situation returns to normal." It also warned that in addition to these current delays, processing and delivery may require significant time to return to normal once that strike ends. Today is Cyber Monday, and that gives us a chance to get deals on some of our holiday gifts.
Experts say they're expecting people to spend more than $13 billion just today online. And this comes after a weekend full of shopping, from Black Friday to Small Business Saturday. Here's a look at busy 2nd Street you were seeing there for a second. That's, of course, right here in Austin, packed with shoppers, some hoping they could find gifts they couldn't necessarily get at bigger chain stores.
I think they will travel to something that is unique and special. And so trying to come up with that on the back end of how do we make the experience unique and special for folks and worth traveling for has been a challenge, but a fun challenge.
A good reminder to shop local where you can. Adobe tracks spending data, and it expects this 5-day stretch between Thanksgiving and today to account for almost 17% of the overall holiday spending season, clocking in at more than $40 billion. Pretty crazy statistic there. Now, if you are shopping online, the Better Business Bureau has some advice to protect your personal information. Always check the website's spelling, because scammers like to create look-alike websites with maybe one letter off or some other small details changed. If you're unsure if a site is trustworthy, you can check the BBB's profile for it. Also, try to use your credit card where you can. You can contest questionable charges that way, in a way that debit cards just don't offer.
Soon, more space will come to an expo center in Taylor. This morning, Williamson County broke ground on the Expo Center West Arena. This will include a covered arena with a picnic area and more parking. The director for the Williamson County Parks Department says these new facilities will give the county the ability to host more outdoor events, as well as to help grow existing ones.
The east side of Williamson County is growing and going to continue to grow for a while, and we believe the addition of this facility is going to really support that growth, and we're thankful again for the opportunity here in Taylor.
A 2023 Parks bond will pay for this new facility, which is expected to cost about $11 million. The director hopes construction will wrap up around November of next year.
Well, it's that time of year where we need your help to shine the light on stories of inspiring women here in Central Texas. We need you to go online to KXAN.com and nominate someone from your community. Just look for the Remarkable Women tab on our homepage. Our local winner will then travel to Los Angeles, where 125 women from around the nation will be honored. And the national winner will receive $25,000 to go to the nonprofit of her choice. So if you've got someone in mind, send in your nominations now. We're taking them until December 20th.